Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yahalelucha Od Yahalelucha Od Yahalelucha Selah Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yahalelucha Od Yahalelucha Od Yahalelucha Selah. Shabbat Shalom, Boker Tov. We're doing a morning meditation Shabbat with Yogalelu today. So we're going to start in mountain pose. I'm going to toss my pillow to the side for now. So feet just about hips width apart, grounded deeply into the ground, into the floor. Hands open, palms spread, let them get some air. My hands get really hot, so it feels good. And you're still, nothing too exerting, but alert. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take a moment to focus your practice this morning, your intention, your kavanah. What do you need this Shabbat? We're going to come down into child's pose. So your toes touch behind you, but your knees are wide. Fold your body down between your legs, and we're going to chant Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Tehorahi. God, my God, the soul you have given me is pure. This is a prayer, a morning chant that honors that which animates our bodies on behalf or as a gift from God. And so we're going to sit in child's pose and let it kind of echo through our little cocoon there that we're going to make for ourselves. So you're just kind of breathing back in your own breath, and I hope you brush your teeth this morning. So let yourself feel your soul animate. Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Tehorahi. 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 And now we are ready to greet the morning, to greet Shabbat, to greet the divine within each of us, the Shekhinah, with some sun salutations and a call to worship. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Ground your back foot into so your front foot is like bisecting your back foot. So your front toes are facing forward, and your back toes are facing that wall where your hips are facing. And think about the light. In Genesis, we are told the first day God creates light, but the fourth day God creates the sun and moon and stars, the things that give us light. So what is it that was created on the first day? Divine light. And so reverse your warrior, peaceful warrior, and bring that light into you. Let it fill your side body. Breathe it in deeply. And we'll do one more sun salutation, a little chaturanga. Get in a back bend, a downward dog, and bring your other foot forward to bring in the light on the other side. So now, whichever foot you had in front before is now in the back, grounded, straight, toes facing, again, the way your hips are facing, and your front toes are facing the front. And we're going to pull in that divine light. Let it fill your side body in that nice stretch, and breathe it in deeply. That light of the first day before there were any luminescences in the sky. And again, come to plank pose, lower down, cobra or up dog, a little back bend, and down to downward dog, just to complete that unit. Warm. So now we're gonna do one more unit of sun salutation, and then or that first part anyway, and we're gonna come into chair pose for our Shema. So take a deep breath in and think about the oneness that upholds us all, so we can sit even with no chair. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevo Malechuto Leolam Va'ed. Now, it's a Shabbat morning, so unlike when we do this on Friday nights, our meditation pose that we're going to hold is not dependent on what kind of work you do, because presumably you haven't been on your feet or at a desk for 8 hours yet, and won't have to do either of those things today either way. So everybody's gonna get into a happy baby pose. I'm gonna do this sideways for physical reasons, but you're gonna lie on your back. Maybe I'll do it backwards. There we go. So you're lying on your back with your feet in the air. Your knees are bent. Kind of pull your knees in toward your armpits and hold. You can hold the outsides of your feet, the insides, do like a yogi peace toe thing, just holding on to your big toes, whatever is comfortable, and just helps to pull your knees in toward your armpits. It'll stretch out your hip flexors, your, glutes, I guess, lower upper thigh area. And you can do a little rolly too, and that'll help, it'll feel good, like a little mini massage on your lower back. And as I guide you through a meditation, feel free to also add in some spinal stretches. After some good happy baby, let go of one foot and swing your left knee to the right side without lifting up your shoulders, your right knee to the left side, again without lifting up your right shoulder. And just whatever stretching feels very secure here. But it's hard to guide a meditation and stretch at the same time. So you move in whatever way feels like it's getting out all of the kinks of your week and setting you up for the most restful Shabbat. And just let yourself go. This week's Torah portion contains a lot, but one sort of small piece of the narrative toward the end of the Parsha is one in which Moses asks to see God's face. And God says, "No man may see me and live, but place yourself in the cleft of a rock, and I will let my goodness pass before you." So as you are stretching out your bodies, letting your back roll around on the floor, getting out all the kinks in your joints, think about ways in which God's goodness has passed before you. What is something that's happened to you this week that isn't, necessarily a miracle, isn't something very explicit? It's not like seeing God's face, but brought joy and peace into your week. Hold that memory for a moment. And if it wasn't this week, sometime relatively recently. However small or large that moment. Imagine if you could carry that feeling with you. What shape does God's goodness take for you? That vague passing before you, the after trails of divine glory. What does that look like for you? If you're still in happy baby pose, maybe you're holding that goodness in between your feet. Baby inspecting how their hands and feet work, holding things, passing them from one limb to the other, trying to grasp, trying to hold on. And so often, babies inspect things by putting them in their mouths. So what would it feel like, taste like? How would it sustain you, fulfill you, satiate you? If you could swallow up, if you could imbibe that feeling of God's goodness. Really try to imagine the sensations, the physical sensations of it. What does it taste like on your tongue? Does it melt or is it chewy? How does it feel swallowing? Is it warm? Does it fill your belly immediately? Or is it something like that you know is good for you and will make you feel better later, but it isn't so pleasant going down? We all have different relationships with the divine and with food. So how does it feel for you to embody God's goodness in that way? Once you've imagined that, felt all of those physical sensations of it entering your body, go ahead and take a deep breath in and a full exhale out of the mouth. If you're in happy baby or a spinal twist, slowly bring yourself up to seated without giving yourself a head rush. And know that however you imagined that God's goodness, it is within you, and it does go with you or before you all the time, even when it's less noticeable. And carry that with you through your week. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Take another deep breath in and out. Square off your shoulders. I hope whatever floor stretches you did felt good. And we're going to do one inversive stretch. If you were doing happy baby and spinal twists, then a little bridge pose to do kind of the opposite things to those same joints should feel very good. So, and we're going to chant as we do this part of Aleinu. And as I've said before, the word Aleinu means it is upon us. And these words that we chant toward the end of the prayer is that someday it will be clear that God dwells here on earth with us, and that there is one connecting divine force between us all. And it is our job as Reformed Jews particularly to be the bridge between communities, between people, between families, to make that messianic age dwell here on earth with us in our lifetimes, hopefully. So bridge pose, I'm gonna do it backwards again. Come on down to your back with your feet stamped firmly on the ground, about hips width distance. If you can bring them in toward your bum, that's, you should be able to touch your heels with your fingertips. But, if that's too hard, if you have knee problems, then wherever they fall comfortably. And go ahead and lift up your hips to form a bridge with your torso. V'hashev ota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim. V'hashev ota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim. V'hashev ota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Do a windshield wiper with your knees. Really get out any tightness left in your legs and hips and lower back. We turn our thoughts now, as we do in any service, to those who are injured and in need of healing. I will read the names on my list, and feel free to add names in the chat of anyone for whom you would like to say a Mourner's Kaddish, and then we'll do a chant just for them. So for this one, just get into a comfortable seated position. Mary Kennedy, Rosalind Cantu, Mike Haug, Lori Perry, Nick Joliot, Ariel Batsluva, Rhoda Wessler, Marion Finkel, Skip, Kathy, and Jeffrey Brace, Rhonda Butler, Ricky Grant, Shoshana Bad Abraham, Minna Dornfeld, Juliette Origi, Leslie White, Ann Cohen, Charlotte Birch, Anita Ash, Joseph Matter, Daryl Swan, Steve McGrew, David Nemero, Chet Fitchandler, David Ray, and David Harper. El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanalanu, El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanalanu. El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanalanu. El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanalanu. El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanala. Please, God, heal her, heal him, heal us. Badger is just off screen here, sitting on all my notes. Not doing yoga with us, but maybe in her honor, we'll just throw in a quick little cat-cow, even though we already did quite a lot of back stretching, but just to give ourselves one last little thing so that we might have a Shabbat as restful and just lazy, enjoyable, refreshing as every day is for a cat. And also a cow. Okay. So a deep breath in and lower your belly, arch your back or arch your neck up, and exhale all of it out. Stretch it out like a Halloween cat. Arch your back, tuck your tailbone. Just do that a couple more times with the breath. So in, cow, out. Okay. And now we turn our thoughts to those who are no longer with us in body, but remain with us in spirit. Again, as I read the names on my list, please feel free to add any names in the chat for whom you'd like to say a mourner's Kaddish this morning. This week marks a yahrzeit for Doris Dornfeld, Cindy Hummel, Renee Hayes, Bernard Shapiro, Jacob Cohn, Norman Nathanson, Nathan Kessler, Felix Schwartz, Gerald Miller, William Treadwell, Jean Geller, Mark Edward Schoenberg, and Sylvia Reback. And we are still within a year of mourning for Sandra Lenag, David Avery, Art Rich, Jason Brown, Louis Petrozello, Gary Lyons, John DiNicola, Arizona Breeding, Fran Warona, Rick Grossman, Aura Alba Leon, Sharon Buell, Mona Mandel, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Patricia Michaels, Joe Davis, Kathleen Schindler, Jamie Bellitz, Ann O'Neill, Bruce Schechter, Bernard Strassner, Ruth Sherman, Louis Aaron Honig, Jean Sullivan, and Carolyn Rubin Magram, and Duncan McDuffie. If you prefer to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, you may do so now. If it's not too morbid for you, I invite you to lie now in Shavasana in final resting pose and let all of the stretching and meditating we've done this morning sink into your body. Let everything go. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma, Divrach, Yirteh, V'yamlich Malchuteh, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, Uv'chayeh Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, Uv'izman, Kari, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. I lost my place. Sorry. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'izman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach ve'olam olamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yiromam v'yinaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'rechu, ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shavaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom v'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom v'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru imru, Amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, Amen. Take one more big stretch in both directions, like a big morning stretch before you get out of bed. Turn to one side and take another deep breath in the fetal position before slowly lifting yourself up to sit. Seal in your practice by rubbing your third eye, smoothing out those pressure spots that maybe feel triggered when you sit up too fast. And I hope you're ready for a wonderful Shabbat. Just a few announcements before we do Kiddush and Motzi and go off to enjoy the rest of our Sabbath day. Tonight at 7:30, there will be a streaming Havdalah service on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Thursday is a Torah study. It continues throughout the month. And then next Friday night is our family service. Saturday night continues Havdalah and religious school on Sunday mornings. Adult Ed is on a brief hiatus until after Passover, which is at the end of this month. So stay tuned for more Passover details. I'm too relaxed now from all of that yoga and meditating, but now my brain is like, woo! Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. We give thanks to God for bread, Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon. We got crumbs on the floor. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you. May God's grace go before you and give you peace. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.